Hi, everybody. I'm John Gwin, CEO of the Octus Group. We're a financial and operations consulting firm for plastic surgeons and dermatologists. I've got a couple industry gurus with me who we work with quite frequently. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hey, my name is Courtney Myers. I'm a licensed CPA based out of Jacksonville, Florida. I run my own consulting practice and it focuses on FP&A, so financial planning and analysis. Also do a lot of fractional CFO work for various companies. Bookkeeping, accounting, the whole nine yards.
Hey, I'm Fady Hawatmeh. I'm the founder and CEO of Clockwork. I'm what I like to call a recovering CFO. I worked for Boeing in financial planning and analysis, FP&A, finance, strategy. For majority of my career, ran my own outsourced CFO consulting firm. Realized I did not like to live in building Excel models and projections and all that kind of stuff. So turned that offering, that service, into a software, Clockwork, which is what we'll jump into a little later.
So for those of us that live less in that FP&A world, can you guys dumb that down for me? What does FP&A actually mean?
Sure. So I'll start here. FP&A, Fady and I both mentioned it, stands for financial planning and analysis, right? So what most people are familiar with when you hear the word accounting, you think of financial statements. You think of I have to get my financials ready for taxes. So you send them to your tax guy or woman, and they get your taxes done. So a lot of times, you have all your records in the shoebox and you send them to your tax accountant, right? And they prepare your financial statements. Well, that's accounting. That's what your numbers have been. That's what they were last quarter. What did we make at your board meeting? Your board members say, what did you guys make last year, right? What was your income last year? That's accounting. FP&A, financial planning and analysis, is what's next. So instead of where the last dollar was spent, FP&A is where can we or where should we spend our next dollar. So it allows you to do some scenario analysis. And Fady, do you want to talk a little bit more about some scenarios? What can FP&A be used for?
Yeah, for sure. So with FP&A, I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of synonymous now with Excel models, and everyone likes to say, build me a model, build me a model, build me a model. But what is actually, what is a model? What does that actually mean? What does it tell you? What can you discern from a model? So that really is the FP&A part. It's not just good enough to have a model, but those what if questions, like what if we bought a new product? What if we bought a new company? What if we offered a new product? What if we raised our prices? What if? My clients love to blow me up all the time with what if questions they think of, kind of out of the air. And so that piece really is FP&A, building all these scenarios, building all these what if scenarios of understanding what your decisions are actually going to do to your business, rather than relying on, gut feel of, yeah, this sounds good, let's run with it and see what happens.
Gotcha. No more napkin math, basically, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you were to build a model right now on a traditional platform, like what would that look like? Are we using Excel? Are we using QuickBooks? And what does it actually visually look like in a traditional sense?
All right. So there's a couple different ways here. My career, along with Fady's, we've done a lot of Excel modeling. We're pretty familiar. We can do them, but there's some drawbacks there. Okay. Mainly that it takes a while. That's going to be my biggest hang up with an Excel model. I can build them with the best of them, but they take a long time. It requires a lot of extra work that some other tools might. But what most people might be more familiar with is QuickBooks. All right, let's talk QuickBooks Online. That's I know a lot of folks that have their budgets in QuickBooks Online, and really what happens is, again, going back to the board example, that you have we're doing 2022 planning right now, right? The board says, hey, come to the next meeting with your 2022 budget. So I'm going to hop in QuickBooks and put some numbers in, print it out, put it in a little 3-ring binder with a cool pie chart my marketing intern put together for me, and go to the meeting with that. Okay, but even let's pretend an awesome software like Clockwork doesn't exist. Let's pretend that's not a thing. I still would never use a QuickBooks tool for my forecasting. Okay, so let's look at it.
I know I've got a forecasting tool in Xero, which is, I think, a knockoff QuickBooks, or slightly different. I shouldn't call it a knockoff. I actually prefer it because I really like the customer support. But to me, it's still very dense visually. It's hard to I don't know, it kind of makes my brain hurt because I don't love doing it. So, but this is QBO here. It looks like.
This is QuickBooks Online, and this is a sample client we have here in the med spa space. Okay, so this is what you would look. This is what you would look at when you log into your QuickBooks Online portal. And guys, I'm going to see if I can remember how to get to my budget here. So it's going to be under reports. Let's see, standard, business overview. Up here.
So a lot of reports too.
Yeah, a lot of reports, and if you don't star them, like so, if I star this, it's going to show up on my main reports, and it'll be up here. So make it a little easier, but still, it's a lot of stuff to wade through. So budget overview, click that. Okay. So this is this sample client here does have their 2022 budget in here. Let's see if they have a 2020. Yeah, don't have a 2022 yet. And you can see we have a lot of static numbers. So I would adjust this. I'd click on this 200,000. And I don't even know what I'm doing here, guys. We click on the 20, we click on this, we adjust it, we type in 225. Okay. That's about the machine learning capabilities that QuickBooks has.
I mean, how does that differ from an Excel spreadsheet too? You're editing each number individually and then putting an equation in, or like,
again, I'm going to say an Excel spreadsheet or Excel financial model is way stronger than QuickBooks. Okay, 100%. Because if I wanted to do an Excel model, I could at least say unit drivers. I'd say number of units, or let's talk med spa. I'd say number of services times price per service. There's my revenue, right? Yeah. QuickBooks, we don't have all that. We'd have a subsidiary spreadsheet. So to back into this 200,000 for January for income, well, I mean, John, you can tell me better than most, but med spas, we don't have just one service. We have a variety of things we offer to our patients and our customers. It may be maybe 3 or 4 different services we offer to get to this 200,000. So we'd have a subsidiary spreadsheet say this many laser treatments at this price, so on, to get to this, here. So to start with, to back into this 200,000. We already have a spreadsheet, so you might as well just build it in Excel. So that's where I'm at. But as you can see, if I have to go in here and type the numbers in, it's pretty clunky. There has to be better ways. So, Fady, what's the better way?
Yeah, I mean, and the biggest thing is here is this isn't FP&A. This is not modeling. This is literally, this is accounting. If even a budget, like a budget is accounting. A model has to be a living, breathing piece that you are working with and constantly updating in your company. Sure. A budget, you fix it and there it is for the rest of the year. Going to update it every day, every week, every month. I mean, that you're adding more of a nightmare, and people don't even do that. So
a lot of times, man, with these budgets, again, this was probably made about a year ago for the 2021 planning session that the board requested. So somebody came in here and, put these numbers in, or more likely, I saw a 2020 budget in here. They copied the 2020 budget and maybe made some numbers a little bit stronger, right? But if I'm not going to waste my time doing it, but if I looked at the 2020 budget, I bet I see some similar stuff here, and it gets printed off and on the shelf, and that's where it stays. But let's look at Clockwork.
Yeah. So the biggest thing I'll say kind of right off the bat is Clockwork exists because I could not find a better tool as an outsourced CFO for my clients. All my clients were asking for something easy, something that integrated, something that was easy to use, simple to use, complex enough to understand the modeling, and they can customize. That's kind of the holy grail. And it took us many, many years to perfect the product to where it is. And so we never want anyone to have to fumble through finding that budget in QBO and expect them to pull that or even pull the report, pull the P&L, and then try and build your own financial model in Excel or Google Sheets. I mean, founders they literally waste, and I'm going to use the word waste purposefully, 20, 30, 40 hours a month trying to fumble through this. Mm-hmm. And, it's simply not worth it. Yeah, exactly. So super high level, Clockwork does a lot of what I just said I needed, right? As an advisor for all these companies. I needed something that plugged in. I needed something that was a living, breathing piece of collateral that we can use for the company. And so, enter Clockwork, where it takes 30 seconds to create the account. And then customizing everything is a couple of clicks here and there. And so this really levels the playing field for everyone around what true financial planning and analysis is. And it just makes life a lot easier across the board.
And so there's time savings immediately and ROI essentially, or ROI and time savings, I should say, for whoever's putting this together. And then, I mean, this is just way more visually and aesthetically pleasing as well. And it's got some clear indicators that, maybe you can pull out of a spreadsheet with calculations, but it's plugging the info you need right in front of you. It looks like right here. And it's been tremendously helpful for our business.
Yeah. I go as far as saying this is sexy, right? When we're back in the QuickBooks, it looks like a spreadsheet, right? It looks like a budget. It's clunky and kind of old school, which is fine. But here we look at Clockwork. They have a fresh face and kind of draws you to it. But I want to
on its own, right? Like you link this with your QuickBooks or with your Xero, and this actually pulls the data in automatically. There's no transfer. There's no updating. It just does it.
Yeah. Yep. So it pulls it in automatically. Like I said, 30 seconds to just integrate. It takes you maybe 30 seconds even if you're going slow. And then the backend AI will take about a minute and a half to custom build your entire account. So when I and you guys know, custom build, genuinely custom build. There's not one thing that you see here that does not exist on a brand new account, from the 5-year model to the 52-week cash flow forecast, to your chart of accounts, to your invoices, your bills, your metrics, the whole nine. Everything is literally custom built because we're pulling in that transactional level data, just like I used to do as a CFO. We just literally built it as a software.
Sure. And no, I do a lot. I've done a lot of the same stuff, in an Excel model, but this right here builds your forecast that would take, even for seasoned guys like us, Fady, to get a base model like this, it's going to take us more than 2 minutes, right? It's going to take us quite a bit of time to get to this point. And even then, it creates what do you like to call it? The good enough forecast, right? So you can, the budget where we had to copy, paste, and do all the clunky stuff in QuickBooks, well, connect Clockwork, and if that's all you want to do, connect Clockwork, 2 minutes, and you have your budget for the board meeting. That right there is worth it if that's all you need. But we can go a lot deeper with some other assumptions. So
yeah. And let's look at some real world scenario planning, because we took the time to pull in that same client's data from QuickBooks there, and I think we can actually go through some scenario planning. So let me set the stage real quick. It's just a busy med spa in a major metro area. Pain points for them were exactly what we've discussed. They don't have a budget, or they don't like the budget, or they can't see the budget, or it's hard to translate. And then answering those what if questions. And I think we're looking at buying the laser here, what that's going to mean for the practice in terms of profitability as well as expenses.
Sure. So again, guys, what we did here is we linked the QuickBooks account to Clockwork. We have our base model in, took 2 minutes, but let's see what happens if we want to tweak some of these assumptions, right? All right, my slow internet decided to cooperate with us today. So as you can see here, again, this is super clean and broken out very nicely. It has historical data in here, so we can see right away our actuals from going back a year. Is that correct? Goes back 12 months?
Yep, it's always going to be showing a rolling 12 months of actuals.
Okay, going to be showing a rolling 12 months of actuals. That's awesome. So if we log back into QuickBooks and look at the actual P&L, our net income numbers are going to tie exactly to this. So that we're off to a good start. So let's expand our revenue line. All right, there we go. And you see, I created groups here. I don't want to get too in the weeds and some of the stuff you can do with Clockwork. But we had our various chart of accounts that came over from QuickBooks. We grouped them up into laser, retail, and services. And let's see what we did with the laser. So John, give me a little bit more detail on kind of what we're trying to do here. We're purchasing a laser. Is that the scenario we're running?
Yeah, we want to see, we're going to buy this laser in month whatever, and then we're going to utilize our current staff to optimize the laser. And then maybe at some point we make a hire, we look at raising prices. So if I wanted to estimate when I make that laser purchase, how that's going to impact cash flow, how would that look?
Right. So what I do here is I click on this, I added a new account called Laser, right? And again, without making this a Clockwork demo, as much Fady and I could go on for an hour and a half talking about all the cool things you can do with Clockwork. So I'm going to try not to do that here. But very simply, I say, nope, we bring on this new laser in September. Okay. And we can change the date we want to bring it on in January 22. I click 2 buttons and there it is. But I can start with 100 services per month. And then I added let's say that grows by 5% a month until we get to a certain point, then it levels out, right? A couple clicks gets me there. And, we're charging $500 a service. We could easily say that goes to $550 at any time. I type a $550, hit an arrow, and we're done. And that gives us our revenue. So we forecasted the revenue from this new laser. I could do it in 45 seconds. If you're brand new, it might take you a minute to forecast what that new laser looks like in terms of revenue. Okay.
Even I could handle it.
Even you, right? So what comes with the laser? Well, there's going to be some cost of service, right? These things don't operate for free or on their own, but let's say to have this laser, we need to hire someone for the laser, right? Again, without making this a Clockwork demo, I forecast that labor pretty much the same way. Okay. So there's our COGS. If I want to see what purchasing the laser does to cash flow, I go out here to cash flow and forecast what the laser looks like. So I'd say, it costs XYZ. I put that in a cash out assumption. I forecasted out here in November. It costs 80 grand, just as an example. And that updates all of your cash flow projections in Clockwork. Okay. So how long would we say this takes? 3 or 4 minutes to create a whole new assumption in terms of revenue, cost, and asset purchase? Well, I'll tell you, I'm pretty slick in Excel, and it would take me a lot longer than that, for sure. For sure.
And that's all you have to do. That's all. Like, the actuals will start coming in whenever that account is created in QuickBooks Online. Your entire account is being updated every hour. It's not just the actuals, right? So if you add that account, we add a new laser, but if you add that in QuickBooks Online, those actuals flow. So you never have to sit through Excel and, going line by line and having those input sheets. And I mean, updating models alone is a nightmare.
Right.
If you can customize like this, I think the biggest, all of our users, I mean, you guys absolutely love it's automatic. You don't have to touch anything. You go and run your business. Right. Now you go and stand up, getting new customers, getting new users, getting new clients. Go and do what you do and let Clockwork kind of handle the boring stuff.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, man, when we first started talking about Clockwork, I'll tell you, I was apprehensive, and I said, "Hey, I'm the Excel model guy. This is my business. What are you doing? Yeah. Stepping on my shoes here. I'm trying to make my own money." But really, what Clockwork has allowed me to do is, expand my service offering. So for clients where I was doing either a clunky model that wasn't getting updated or wasn't doing modeling at all, I very easily on several clients plugged in Clockwork and went from having no FP&A to pretty strong FP&A, again, with just that 2-minute plug-in. So it's allowed advisors, if there's any advisors out there listening, it allows you to expand your service offerings and provide something different, or heck, even tack it on as an additional service. So if you have a client where they're not utilizing any FP&A, you can add this as an offering. Absolutely.
It's very Skynet, like the robots are here, right?
Yeah, I love it, but either get with them or don't. But it's it's awesome.
Just without the robot arm.
Without the robot arm. Right. Yeah, that's cool stuff.
I really appreciate you guys taking the time to kind of walk through this and both being present. And I just want to shamelessly plug, we use the software. We love it. We're plugging in with our bookkeeping clients because it's the type of technology that when I pass it on to the client or give it to the client, it's providing so much value that I look good just by pulling that in.
Sure.
And I can speak from personal experience that, I've worked with Courtney on some FP&A pre-Clockwork, and service offerings there are solid as well. He helped us get us through some really difficult modeling times in the years past. So
Sure.
I gotta call you guys out for being good at what you do.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, John. So, and if you're looking for some accounting or bookkeeping or fractional CFO with or without Clockwork, shameless plug for myself. But if you're looking for Clockwork, Fady's the guy to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, what I always say is, call me on my bullshit. Sign up for an account. If it takes you longer than 30 seconds, I'll give you a free account. Like, that's literally how easy it is to get up and running on Clockwork. So, I could show you it, I can walk you through it, but see it for yourself. It's extremely simple to use, and that's why we exist, right? That's why, Courtney and John, we legitimately learned of each other through business. We haven't been friends for a long time.
Right.
Clockwork is what brought us together, and we've just grown naturally, grown a friendship out of that. But it's all business first, right? Business is what if Clockwork started sucking, we would not be homies, and you guys would not want to have this conversation. It's
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're all here for a reason, man. Yeah, without a doubt. Well, again, thank you guys so much for making time and
Sure.
walking through this. And it literally answers the question, what if, that quickly. We just ran through 20 minutes, and it didn't take 20 minutes to build out. It took 20 minutes for us to do the talking head things about it. So
Exactly.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, this was a pleasure. And I know the three of us will talk soon, but anybody out there listening, hit us up. We'd love to chat.
appreciate it.